So is everybody on board already? Got 10 people. Well, they're coming in. All right. I'll wait until it gets slows down. Right? That's it. 38 people. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and start. Welcome to our town hall. Thank you for joining us. This is a very critical town hall to give everybody a chance to ask the questions regarding the convention. I'm going to turn it over to Chris for some ground rules, and then Nicole will take us through our procedures, and then we'll come back to answer questions. If you got questions, please put them in the chat, and somebody's going to moderate the questions for us. And thank you for coming. Mr. Chris.
Hello, everybody. Emily Allen, it says you can't see Miguel. Hopefully you can see him floating across the top of your screen.
Yeah,
I don't think, oh, there's Miguel as the presenter. All right, very good. So welcome and now you can't see me. So you can see Chris and Miguel. All right, so I think it's gonna rotate, maybe pick up on us a little bit here. Welcome, everybody. I'm gonna kind of give you a rundown of how we're gonna kind of execute this here. We are gonna keep the chat very active tonight. We've got a number of the staff on board as well to help monitor it, responsible for different parts of convention. Nicole's gonna give us about a 15-minute overview with a handful of slides, a short handful, I think there's 10, maybe 11 slides. That just kind of summarizes the environment in Orlando and kind of what we're doing, what the precautions look like, and overall with regards to COVID. And then we'll spend the second half of the town hall in more of a Q&A. I will be moderating and pulling questions out of the chat. So it'll be really important that you guys definitely leverage that, throw the questions in there, and then we'll feed those back into the staff, to Miguel and to Nicole during the discussion piece. Right now, we're sitting at about 40 people, so we may be able to unmute some towards the end, depending on how we grow between now and then. But again, definitely throughout everything, if you've got questions, throw them in the chat, and we will go from there. Well, Davis, video's overrated. Yeah, you know, it can be. Yes, and his views of Puerto Rico. Yes, he's been posting on Facebook like crazy with all of his views and nice beaches and everything in Puerto Rico.
Hey, it's a difficult job, but somebody got to do it.
Yeah, you know, it's rough. I'm sitting here in Texas in the heat, and you're sitting on the beach. It's nice. So guys, with that, you know, let's go ahead and let Nicole share screen, walk us through her PowerPoint. And like I said, that'll leave us plenty of time at the second half of the conversation here to be able to answer questions or address anything specific about what she presents. So Nicole, over to you.
Great. Good evening, everyone. For those of you who I have not met before, my name is Nicole Notre. I'm the Senior Director of Conferences and Events, and I have the wonderful opportunity to lead our events team, who handles all the logistics and everything around all of our SHPE national events. Tonight, we're going to talk over our national convention. So going into our slides, so we started our convention planning back in 2017. Not sure everyone understands how a large convention planning works, but the cycles for it are actually years in advance. So our convention planning started with looking at cities and making the selection and going through the contracting process. This year, we are hosting our convention in Orlando, Florida, over the dates of November 10th through the 14th, with a one-day virtual career fair on November 5th for those companies who are not able to join us this year in person. We do have options available for attendees who cannot be with us in person. Although our convention is not a hybrid convention, we don't have the ability to do that, but we did offer and made options available for those who are going to be virtual. That includes our virtual career fair, our virtual resume review, which is about 2 weeks. You have appointments that you can sign up for. We also have our competitions. So we have individual as well as group competitions. And if selected to participate in those, that is actually happening virtually. So you can make still an impact and participate on that level. And our workshops, our companies who are presenting our workshops will all be recorded along with our signature events and provided in the on-demand library. And you will have access to that for 1 year post-convention. So the nice thing about that is normally when you're in person, you can only go to the one session at the time. There's concurrent things going on, so you pick one. This gives you the opportunity to see all the workshops that are recorded in the library at any time that you choose. We also did create a new agenda flow for this year. This is to manage our COVID protocols as well as line management for things that are always busy anyways, and to make sure that we accommodate everybody. All right, our current plan for this year. So just wanted to go over, a lot of questions I get are, what are the mandates and what is SHPE doing? Our mandates, just to clarify, the state of Florida mandates, a lot of people ask me, why are we not making vaccinations mandatory? The reason is because the state of Florida has mandated that we cannot make our registration contingent on vaccinations or proof of vaccinations. Those are based on current rulings, and we are watching that very closely just in case anything changes. Orange County, which is where Orlando is located, and the convention center has mandated, though, that their county employees, which are the ones who service the convention center, are required to be vaccinated by September 30th, and they're requiring their employees to wear masks inside. The CDC mandates are following that only requirement is that masks be worn inside public areas. And in addition to that, President Biden did extend the mask for transportation, that's public transportation, to January of 2022. For us, we decided as an organization that we want to mandate masks in all areas. The only exception to that is when you're actively eating in a public area, you're able to remove your mask and then replace your mask when you're going on to other areas. We are offering some meals along with some of our events, and those will be grab and go so that people can then take their meal over to a socially distanced area that they feel comfortable in. We will also have some line management going on. This includes our career fair entry. We have adjusted it, so early entry access will be designated by the color of your lanyard. For students, some will have early access on Thursday, some will have early access on Friday. That isn't the whole day, so our career fair is open from 10 to 4. That limited time is from 10 to 2, and that does help you have less people competing to go into the booths and talk to our recruiters and universities. We also will have social distance seating. So our workshops, we have created an environment with socially distanced seating. Our presenters will be in there presenting to everyone, and they will be removing their mask while they're talking. We also will have a daily health check. This will be electronic, and it's just a reminder for you to just kind of a check, you know, do I have everything? Also, do I have any symptoms or whatever, to help remind you if you are experiencing symptoms, what you can do. Waivers are also being signed by everyone as part of our code of conduct. This is part of our registration process, and we will have active signage around the convention center, reminding you of the rules and anything else that we need to make you aware of. COVID information. So a lot of people have also asked me, you know, what do you look at, Nicole, when you're looking at all this information? Just so everyone knows, I am on a weekly COVID update. This is for meeting industry people. This is just helping us kind of process all the information. But part of that is we wanted to make sure and share that the rate of transmission in Orange County, Florida, which is where Orlando is currently less than 0.5 as of this past week. The rate of transmission is important because the rate of transmission, when it's higher, that means there's more cases, things of that nature. With a lower rate of transmission, where it's as low as it is, that means that the rate of transmission of viruses or anything like that is very low at this time. We have seen a steady decrease in cases of COVID over the past 10 weeks. And currently, as of the mayor update this week, Orange County is sitting at 10%. We did ask a question of you as you registered for convention of, are you vaccinated, yes or no, or would you like to answer? And of those people who have registered, the answer to that is actually above 90%. So we feel very confident with that everyone who's going to be there is also doing their part to make sure we're all safe and healthy as well. And just a reminder to everyone about our US vaccination numbers in the 18 plus age group. That means everyone 18 and above. Those numbers are sitting at least 75%. That's also good to make sure that really the only way is to make sure everyone is vaccinated, and then it just makes everyone also comfortable with high vaccination numbers, hopefully low transmission.
Nicole, we have one question in the Q&A.
Yeah.
Will extreme engineering still be one of the competitions this year? They haven't seen it listed in the competitions yet.
That's a great question. Extreme engineering is actually taking a break this year. So they're retooling that competition, and we are looking forward to bringing it back in 2022. But we do have a variety of other competitions this year, including our Innovation Challenge, Cybersecurity. We have a pitch competition, Engineering Science Symposium. We also have our grad thesis competition, which is new this year as well. So I think we have a competition that hopefully includes everybody's interest and gives everyone an opportunity as much as possible to participate. Oh, and sorry, one more, our design challenge sponsored by Nissan is also happening.
Thank you.
So I know there've been some challenges, and we're trying to offer solutions for everybody as well. We have provided in the form of letters on our website to help with those schools that might need to request exemptions to provide funding. We have one specific to California because they have some specific challenges there, as well as other schools. So there's two different types of letters. We also have one for professionals. This is on our website. You can access it and download it, and hopefully that helps you with your case. We have also offered travel support. The link has been out on our website and also provided in our newsletter to help you apply either for extra funding to cover travel, or maybe to help you cover some of the costs for your registration. And that applies for in-person as well as virtual. There are a variety of questions on there, so you can designate which one that you need support with. And then just a reminder that our safety information is on our convention website. And if we have any changes between now and convention, we will update that as well. But we just did a major update there and provided as much information as we possibly could. One of the questions we also get is what companies are coming, how many companies are coming. The list of companies you can see on our website for convention. You can search on them, you can do some research on them, but our current count is we have 117 companies, organizations, as well as universities that will be on site with us, along with on-site interviews. For those who are participating in the virtual convention part or career fair part, we have 145 companies currently committed there. Our capacity for that will be 150, just so you know. The 117 in person, that number has been increasing every day. So we are still getting requests and still adding companies. So please check our website because that will still change between now and convention. So I just wanted to highlight a few events for this year. We do have some ticketed events. These are you can add them during registration, or if you've already registered, you can go back into the system and add these tickets to your registration. But some highlighted events is we do have a new thing this year. Our general session will be on Thursday, November 11th, and this is going to be with a keynote speaker. We are inviting some special speakers in for everyone, and this will be a general session. We have our Excellence in STEM breakfast, where we will be handing out part of our STAR Awards in the morning. This is a ticketed event, and we will have limited number of general admittance tickets available for everyone. And it does include a meal as well. Our STAR Awards presentation and reception is Friday evening. That's where we will be presenting the rest of our STAR Awards. And again, that's a presentation as well as some food will be part of that with a limited number of general audience tickets as well. And then I'm really excited to have our closing celebration on Saturday the 13th. I hope you will all come and join us for Una Noche Encantada. Our enchanted evening is going to include closing comments, a celebration of convention, as well as our lifetime members will be there, and hopefully some new lifetime members that we'll be welcoming and bringing into the familia as well. Again, these are ticketed events. You can add them just like any of the other ticketed events will be on there, and there is no cost, especially at the closing party. This is all included in your registration.
Hey, Nicole, real quick before you go on, you
Yes.
do have a question related to the ticketed events, particularly the STAR Awards, asking if we're going to be live streaming that this year, or will we simply be recording it and it be available in the on-demand?
Currently, we are just planning on recording it. We are not planning to live stream it right now.
And that goes for any of the ticketed events or the workshops, etc. We're planning to record, not live stream, correct?
That is correct. We will be recording them. Some companies, I will be let you know that some companies are not able to record those. So if you don't see every single workshop in the on-demand library, it's because that company has particular rules and they're not able to provide a recording. But all those that are able to provide, will provide them to us. We will upload those within a week after convention is their deadline to submit those. And those will be available for a whole year after convention.
And staying in that same vein, there's a question that says, how about an honoree? Could he or she be able to accept an award virtually?
If they're a STAR Award winner, yes, there are some award winners who are not able for whatever reason to join us. So we are making arrangements with them so that we can still honor them even though they can't be there with us in person.
Every STAR Award got a letter from me with a copy to Diana. So anybody who cannot make it in person, is virtual, needs to get back to myself or Diana very quickly. We will make arrangements for that person, but we need to move quickly.
Okay, and so similarly, the plan would be then the honoree could pre-record their acceptance speech, and we'll be able to play it during the event. Is that what you're thinking?
That's the general approach. Yes. So this is not a hybrid convention. This is an in-person convention, and we're making accommodations from a career fair standpoint to allow those who can't come for whatever reason to at least have a chance through the virtual career fair. But this is not a hybrid convention. This is a in-person convention.
Okay. And we're clearly, Nicole moved into the Q&A piece here. A lot of these questions are directly related to your last slide, but some of them are going to transition here in a minute. So I've got another question, particularly around the ticketed events, which was kind of that last slide you presented on. They're asking, will the meals at ticketed events be grab and go as well, or will those be sit down?
Nope, they will be grab and go. We are trying to make it as safe and as healthy for everybody, as well as a lot of the protocols and things that we're doing are above and beyond what the CDC is asking for. And the reason we do that is we know everyone's comfort level. Some people are comfortable One of the other things that we're doing this year is you will have in your convention bag a red, green, and yellow button. And this button will allow you to designate to people in a visual way, you know, whether you feel comfortable handshaking or not. Everyone through all of this has a certain comfort level, and we want to make sure and meet people where they are. So we're trying to offer different ways to make sure that you can still participate at wherever you feel comfortable.
So Samuel, I'm kind of watching your question get answered in the chat here, but just for everyone, if you're not following the chat, Samuel was asking when we were going to get an updated agenda. A link to the most current agenda has been provided in the chat. And then there's a comment that basically says the website's now directly linked into Map Your Show, which is constantly being updated on each session and each speaker and each exhibitor as that information comes in. It's an ongoing population. So the link that was provided is, you know, ever evolving and changing as we continue to get final information in and are able to populate. So that'll be the place to go from here forward.
Yep, our agenda is updated in real time. It also will feed to our mobile app, which will be available as we get closer to convention. You can build your agenda, and then it'll also show in your mobile app along with maps and everything else.
All right, well, we got a praise here on a great idea with the buttons. Thank you. Would that also apply during the career fair?
For the career fair?
Well, with regards to your button, what they're asking if that red, yellow, green concept applies on the
all the time.
Career fair. It's 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, you put them on all the time.
You'll have the three buttons, and you can wear whichever one. You know, we're giving you all three so that, you know, maybe on one day you want to not shake any hands and wear your red button, and the next day you might want to, you know, shake some hands and not, so you can wear your yellow button that day. So we're giving you the ability to decide which one you want to wear for the day.
I mean, if you see Chris walking around with 20 red buttons, just run away from him.
Or walk up and just, you know, give me a hug, whatever.
Yeah.
We'll make it work. No, but that's great. And I think that gives you an opportunity also with the various buttons to be able to look at the different environments throughout convention, right, and say, you know, hey, in this particular situation, I'm comfortable and agreeing. But when we get in this congested area over here in line, maybe, you know, you're less comfortable there with any type of interaction, and you switch it out.
And it prevents the discomfort when you want to hug somebody and they don't want to be touched, or vice versa. You know, you don't feel like touching anyone, and somebody comes over to shake hands or whatever. You just look at your button and they know. So it avoids all those awkward moments, hopefully.
Awesome. Well, are there any other questions from anybody?
I will answer one of the questions that we got in advance was, what do we do? Like if I'm not wearing my mask, or how are we going to handle those? Obviously, if we see you not wearing your mask and you're not actively eating, we will come and talk with you and say, hey, please, you know, you need to be wearing your mask. If this is repeated, the level that we will go up to is you may be asked to revoke your badge, and you would be asked to leave. We hope that everyone will comply with all the guidelines that we have, but we are, you know, we're just trying to make this safe and healthy for everybody. And so we will have signage around to let you know these things as well. But we will have people, security, as well as committee members and volunteers around who will be monitoring that. And you may be asked, if you're not currently wearing your mask, you know, we're not going to eject you right away. But if we see that it's ongoing, you know, there are consequences to it. We just want to make sure everyone's aware of that.
Nicole, what happens if you leave your mask in your room?
Great question. We will actually have some disposable masks available for everyone. So if for whatever reason you left it in your room, things like that, we will have a throwaway mask that you can wear for that day.
I had a question pop up here. How would you track repeat offenses with regards to the masks? And, you know, if somebody gets to a point where we needed to revoke attendance.
That's a great question. The security and the committee, who are volunteers who put this together, we do track people. So we will write down their names and we will keep a list of that. So if your name keeps popping up, then you may be one of those people that we talk to. Hopefully most people will just, give a gentle reminder as a kind of a first, like, hey, you need to put your mask on, and it wouldn't, go past that. We don't want to have to ask someone to leave.
Yeah, and similarly in that same vein, the follow-up question was, will we be using scanner guns to collect identities of mask offenders? I think the overall the question is, just kind of what we were getting to there of how will we track them? How will we know if they're constantly repeating, offenders, so to speak,
Yeah, we will be taking down names, and everyone in their badge does have an RFID reader, and we will have scanners around that are reading you as well. It also helps us if we had to go back and do any contact tracing on any level. That's helping us as well. So we're trying to be as prepared as we possibly can. We're just hoping that everyone participates with the guidelines that we've set up.
Yeah, we assume 99% of people who are not wearing their masks because they forget. Sat down to get a cup of coffee and I get up and I forget, and they'll be told and they'll say, oops, sorry, and then put it back on. There may be a 1% of people who say, oh, I don't believe in masks and you cannot force me to wear a mask. And for those, the reminder is this is not a mandatory event. This is a voluntary event. And the rules of the event is you need to wear a mask. If you don't wear a mask, then you're not invited to the event because it's not mandatory. You don't have to be there. You could be home. So I think this will be a non-issue, but we need to prepare in case it becomes an issue.
Nicole, we did have another question. Do we need to take a COVID test before coming to conference?
At this time, we are not requiring a COVID test. We are, as you know, keeping track of everything. So should plans change, state mandates, federal mandates, any of that change between now and then, we would alert everybody. But at this time, we are not requiring that.
Thank you.
In the chat, we just had one more pop up. Ask, what is the estimated attendance that we're expecting?
Sure. Our overall attendance, and that includes everybody, exhibitors, staff, committee, attendees. We suspect that it will be somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000 people. That's what we've been looking at, and just based on what we think is going to happen. I wish I could say I have a crystal ball. I don't. And pre-COVID, when we originally started this planning, we thought that we would be at 10,000 people. We recognize that that's not possible this year. So we did try to modify our numbers, and based on what we've learned from the industry and things like that, that's where we think we will be.
All right, and then we did have another question come in pre-session tonight. You kind of hinted at this a little bit, so Miguel, you may have some additional comments on this one. But it was asking about, and I'm going to kind of paraphrase it a little bit here because it was kind of lengthy. But basically, what they're asking is, why Florida, when Florida has consistently pushed back on COVID restrictions, et cetera. And like I said, I think you kind of tackled this a little bit in your very first slide, explaining that the planning and the contracting started, many, many years ago. But I did want to just make sure, since it was submitted prior to this session, that we did bring it out during the Q&A. So, Miguel or Nicole, either one, is there anything else you wanted to add around that? It really does have to do with the planning and how early we have to start for a convention this size.
I'll give it a try. We do these things 4 or 5 years in advance because there are 20 organizations, 30 organizations competing for space in this time of the year. So if you wait till the last minute, you may not find sufficient space to have your convention. So when Florida was chosen, COVID didn't exist. It wasn't a threat. Nobody knew about it. So it is impossible to predict what's going to happen. And I'll give you one example. We're committed to 2024 right now. 2024 is going to be our 50th anniversary. So we're going back to California. It's going to be in Anaheim. It's probably, I'm hoping this is the convention to shame all other conventions in the world, because it will be a massive celebration of our organization. In the meantime, California is now blocking 17 states, travel to 17 states for different reasons, from LGBTQ laws to COVID to all kinds of things. Again, something we can't predict. What if in the next couple of years, for example, all those 17 states decide to ban travel to California in retaliation? All of a sudden, we're sitting there with 17 states, people 17 states that their schools can't send them, and kind of crazy. So we said, okay, well, if we can foresee that, we can't, but if we can foresee that, let's move it. Let's move it to Oregon. Well, it turns out that the political climate changes, and Oregon becomes a hot spot, and there are riots, and federal government said, no conventions in Oregon that year. We can't predict what's going to happen 4 or 5 years ahead of time. So we have to get the best within reason, and hope that we can maneuver around whatever restrictions or whatever the governors or the legislatures from the different states decide to do. It's a minefield these days, and I don't think it's going to get any better, honestly. Personal opinion. This is not Shep's opinion. It's my personal opinion. It's not going to get any better. If anything, it's going to get worse. But we'll try to do the best we can. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, and Indira, to follow up on that topic before I go into another question, I see your comment. Any thoughts on how we can protect the organization with contracting clauses, et cetera? We do that. We negotiate very hard. We've got legal counsel that specializes in contracting, that helps ensure we're as protected within the law as we possibly can be. Our contracting clauses saved us a lot last year when COVID and the country was completely shut down, and we've tightened a lot up and modified things this year and renegotiated many things to minimize risk based on clauses and what we've seen over the last 18 months or so. So I would say that's one area that we are extremely strong in, and have talented staff and very strong counsel in that area as well to help us navigate those waters to protect us as much as possible. So hopefully that's one area we're really strong in. Jamie, you had a question here. For companies that are attending virtually only, the interview window will be done prior to the career fair. Perhaps at the time of the career fair, we will complete our interviews available, and might be that the career fair may not be relevant to us in person anymore. Any chance to reverse the order of the virtual career fair versus virtual career fair first and then interviews? So I think I think we're asking about kind of the timing between the virtual career fair and the in-person, if I'm understanding that question.
Virtual career fair is first already, so I'm not sure that I follow.
Complete our interviews available and can you unmute me? Yeah, Nicole, can we unmute?
Who is the person?
Jaime Braverman.
Jaime Braverman.
There he is.
Did you say Javier?
No, Jaime Braverman. He showed up on the bottom of the screen. I don't know whether he's muted or not. Hey, Jaime, can you say anything?
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes, we can.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity. So our understanding right now, Kimberly Clark is going to be attending virtually only. And the information that has been shared with us is that on the week of that virtual career fair that is on Friday, from Monday through Thursday of that week, we are going to have the interviews with the students. But then we go to career fair. So my question is, if we could reverse the order and first have career fair, so we have the opportunity to meet the students and then fill out our agenda to interview, rather than me interviewing the whole week and then go to a career fair where I will not be able to interview the next week. So I don't know why I need to have a career fair on Friday if there is no benefit for me, rather than just answering questions of what is Kimberly-Clark and nothing else. I don't know if that makes sense on my question now.
You want me to take that one?
Because you volunteered.
I'll volunteer. The reason we set this up is we talked with a lot of companies, and obviously there's not an ideal way. Like, every company does things a little bit different. Many of the companies actually fill their interview slots by contacting students prior, not waiting for the career fair. They actually go into our online career center, look at all the students' resumes that are uploaded there, and then they reach out to them and set up interview appointments. Also, prior to the career fair day, students and exhibitors are able to go into the system. You can set up your profile, upload your resume. So you don't have to wait for the career fair day to be talking to people. You can actually answer the pre-screening questions as an attendee, and the exhibitors can go in and see your pre-screening questions, and they may choose to just go straight to interview, not wait for the career fair day. The career fair and standing in line is really to help supplement, like if you didn't have your resume in before, if you didn't do that, you're just looking for another chance to talk to recruiters and things, as well as some of our companies also have their own interview platforms. So some people may not even interview in the platform. We offer it as a benefit. But many of them just set up times to talk with people and then go to their own company's interview platform that they have to go through for this process. So we have heard some of that feedback. We try to make sure and provide as much opportunity as possible, but we're trying to get with 200 plus companies. We're never going to get the same exact pattern that's going to work for all 200 at the same time.
Okay, thank you. My only feedback is, again, at least I believe that we might be able to fill out all our interview slots between Monday and Thursday. And Friday, I will have my team just waiting to talk to students, but the value of that day might be very limited, at least from my view. We'll see. I might be wrong, but just an observation.
Thanks.
All right, so we're going to shift gears a little bit. We've got a couple of questions coming in a different direction. Nicole, what are the plans that are in place for the event should a COVID-19 outbreak happen during convention? Do we have a contingency safety type? Yeah, that's I think what we're looking for here to answer that one.
Yeah, so any event, no matter whether it's COVID or anything, we always have to put together a crisis management plan of how are we going to manage anything. So should something like that happen, we do have a process in place. We'll identify the person who, see where they've been, who they've been around. As I said, we do have RFID scanning in the badges. So that will help us. We have push notifications. So should something happen, we would, activate that. But in general, we do have crisis management plans for lots of things. What if a hurricane happened because we're in Florida? What if, fire happens? All these things, we do have to take all these things into account. Kind of like you're a flight attendant. So just think of all the different scenarios. We try to make sure to do that. And we also work really closely with the convention center, the local police, health regulations, everything. All of those things we try to cover and make sure we plan for as many scenarios as we possibly can.
Yes, the fire marshal's been your best friend when it comes to that COVID spacing, hasn't he?
Yes.
All right. We've also got another question, again, kind of a different direction. We're going to circle back to the colored lanyards. It says, when dividing people up for the career fair by the colored lanyard, what was the process that was used? Is it first come, first serve, first person to pick up, your badges at convention, alphabetical order, etc. How are we going about deciding who gets access to what?
Yeah, not a problem. We have this on our website as well. So it is on different areas, but just to explain for everyone, and bless you, Chris. We decided to make it fair for everyone as much as we can. You need to come in on that Wednesday and register in person. And when you register in person, we will assign you your color at that time. Let's just say for easy math, because it's been a long day and I could use some easy math at this point. Let's say it was 3,000 people, students that we had there. We would take the first half and assign them the color for Thursday, and then the second half would get the color on Friday. So that would be 1,500 on Thursday, 1,500 on Friday. Professionals and grad students, as they are a smaller demographic, we are allowing them to be in the career fair during the day, either day, that there's no limited access. It's just our large contingency is our students. So we're trying to line manage. So we have heard feedback from our attendees that, you go to convention and you stand in line for everything. So we're trying to manage that also along with protocols. So this helps. We're reducing the number of people in there. So it should give you actually more time to get through more recruiters, because you have less people that you're competing and standing in line with.
All right. And then we also have a question: will virtual only attendees be offered a different price for convention reg than those attending in person?
At this time, we are not offering a different price because we do feel the value for what we're providing, including all the things that you have is at that price. If you can't afford that price, we have offered the travel support option. So let's say you can only pay for a portion of the registration fee. Hopefully you're only having to cover your registration fee because you're virtual, you're not having to pay for travel, things like that. So you can apply for the travel support to help offset that cost for you.
And we are back to, one more question. If the funds are not exhausted for travel support stipends, will deadline be extended? So in other words, deadline hits and we still got money, will we extend it?
I have not talked with Monique, but I would imagine that yes, if we still have funds, we try to help everybody. Just like last year, we tried to make sure and accommodate as many people as we could, so that no one was really saying that they couldn't attend convention. So we're as long as people are giving us money, we're going to try to make sure and help all of you as much as we possibly can, because that's ultimately what we're trying to do, is make sure and make these connections for everybody.
Yeah, that money is given to us earmarked for help. So the only thing we can use it for is help. If we didn't use it all, we'd have to give it back to the companies. So we'll try to give it to students as much as we can.
Yeah, thanks, Miguel. That's what I was gonna add there. So, yeah. All right. Well, we have 13 minutes left. We have answered all of our questions in our chat at this point. Let's give everybody just one last minute or two here to see if there's any lagging questions from anybody. Miguel, any closing thoughts or anything as we begin to wrap this? And I'll let you know if anything else comes in.
I will tell you, and I'll tell all the guys at the town hall, we've been working this whole COVID issue for the last 6 months, and the situation changes literally day by day, particularly the political environment in Florida changes day by day. And this is not something that has been done lightly. And we spent hours and hours and hours. The board got involved. The board dedicated almost a whole day to figure out whether we have an alternative to in person, and what that would look like. And this is not, because I hear comments in social media, oh, why these guys chose this, as if this was a phone call. Hey, what do you want to do? Let's do it in person. Okay, let's go in person. This has been gone back and forth quite a bit. And Nicole and her team has done an amazing job with the city. The city has leaned forward tremendously with us. They have done all kinds of protocol. Even their protocols are more strict than the state itself. So this has been, I don't want to say a nightmare, but it's been one of the most difficult conferences we've had probably that we'll ever have. And we're trying everything we can to make sure that it is the safest possible. Not only because that's what we do, but we're going to be there too. So this is not something that we're doing remotely. We're there with you. So we need to make it safe for everybody and make sure that that there are no issues. And I can't predict everything that is going to happen, but we've gone through all kinds of scenarios that we can think of. And we've been at this for quite a while. So we'll see.
Absolutely. Well, we do have two more questions that have come in, and I'll throw those out as the last couple here for the evening. The first one, I think, Nicole, is probably more you. It says, with COVID and considering that, are there any protocols in place around handing out business cards or resumes, restrictions, QR code utilization, et cetera, that's built into the planning?
Sure. We don't have any protocols for SHPE. Obviously, the companies might have some protocols, and I would imagine they would have some signage in their booth telling you how they want to handle that. We are in our interview area, so we have an interview hall. Normally, we have you fill out a survey, maybe on a laptop or something. We are going to have QR codes for that, so that the survey that you take, you're just scanning from your phone and you're not having to touch anything. We are trying to make, we made longer break times to clean rooms in between, but I would say the company reps probably will have some kind of protocols, but the individual companies are not telling us. So I would just be prepared. And I would also make sure to update your LinkedIn profile or other things, so that if maybe you just have to fill that in quickly, you can share that as a way to do something virtually if asked for.
Francis, all right. Okay, guys, so I see a couple more comments just reinforcing some of what's been said. But Francis, you got a great quote here at the end, so I think I'll use it to kind of close us out for the evening. Francis, you said here we're going to get through this pandemic together, and I'm happy and looking forward to it being in person. Hashtag SHPE for life, and I think that's a great mindset going into this, reinforcing what Nicole and Miguel have said this evening, that we really are taking this very seriously. We're putting everything we can in place. Hopefully everyone saw one of my very first comments, but if not, I'll reinforce it here at the end. Everything we've said tonight is kind of the most current, up-to-date information that we've got. We are still roughly 30 days out from convention, and things are ever evolving. So understand that when you get on site, if something does look a little bit different than what you heard tonight, that's probably because something evolved between today and the convention's kickoff here in roughly 30 days. So just
check the website. We will keep the website updated when things change. So
absolutely.
Check it as much as you can.
Yep, our website with the information tonight was recorded. We'll be sharing that. Social media posts and stuff are providing those links. We've been sending communications out. We'll continue to do that as we get closer. For my regional leadership on the call, please kind of remind your chapters, tomorrow is the end of early bird registration. So encourage your chapters to get those bulk registrations in. Again, they do not have to be processed. They just have to be submitted. If we've got them on site, we're going to honor them, even if we're processing them after early bird is closed. So go ahead and kind of do some blast in the morning as part of your morning routine and help us out with that. Let's drive registration here at the end, and we all look forward to seeing everyone in November at convention in Orlando. So,
yeah. Magical time.
Excellent, absolutely. Well, guys, thank you for your time this evening. Look forward to seeing everyone in person. You can always reach out to Nicole, Brianne, or myself if there are any questions. If we don't know the answer, we'll kick them over to Miguel. I'll use your line and reverse it on you here. And he'll turn around and kick them right back to us, but we'll get you answered. And thank you guys for taking the time and hearing us out. So appreciate it. Y'all have a good evening.
Thank you very much. And the questions were great, by the way. They're very good questions. So thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank y'all.